Hi guys, today we're going to present to you the styles of delivery. Basically, the styles of delivery are the ways in which you will present your speech.
Okay. What you'll learn about delivering a speech, you need to be able to explain the different delivery styles and enhance or detract them from the speech. You need to be able to choose from these different modes and determine which one is the best to use for your speech.
So, there are 5 in total. The first one is speaking from memory. Basically, you are writing your speech, but you have to recite it word for word when you will have to present it without looking at it at all. And the advantages of this would be you have more eye contact from your audience, gestures are more available to you. However, it requires a lot of speaking expertise and experience, so it is very hard to accomplish when you start learning how to speak with your audience. Then, the manuscript reading, that's the one everyone is generally doing. Basically, you are writing your speech, you recite it, but you don't have to rely on memory to talk about it. You can read it and have eye contact with the public. But it kind of limits you, because if you don't remember some parts, it limits you with eye contact and gestures, because you're on a post, you're just talking about what you're talking about, and well, it limits you somehow.
Okay, impromptu speaking, it requires you really to think on the spot about the speech, and an impromptu speech is when you give a talk or a speech and you haven't really planned for it, so you might not have a script. There's the pros to this is it creates a more flexible speech, because you can be in the moment and talk about things you think on the spot. It also gives you the opportunity to demonstrate your speaking skills, and you can rely on your memory. But if you don't know much about the subject you're talking about, then it can affect you because you don't have any knowledge, so you probably should have planned for it in advance. And you're not being prepared.
Okay. Extemporaneous speaking is when the speech is prepared and practiced, but it is not written and used when you present your speech. So basically, you just practice it before talking to your audience. The pros of this, it gives you more diversity, because you have the opportunity to have more freedom to extend your topic or your audience. As well, it is more natural, as you are basically having the freedom of speaking from your own perspective. However, you need to adapt to your audience, because if you do use some terminologies that the audience wouldn't understand, then they are less likely to listen to you. And of course, it requires a lot of organization and time practicing. Then the last one, soundbite, Twitter speaking. Basically, it's rephrasing your speech, so like the audience would more likely to understand what you're talking about, so making more informal words to make your audience understand. So the pros of this would be the message are easier delivered by you from your audience. They are more likely to understand what you want to tell them. However, it depends on who are you talking with, because if you use informal language with important people, they are less likely to accept and understand what you're talking about.
Okay, practicing your speech. This is the practice plan. You should always start practicing your speech early, so don't feel afraid to talk to people at an early age and get into public speaking. Verbalizing your whole speech. practice with like visuals, so you can be in a room and even if nobody's in it, you can look to the back and revise your speech by yourself. You can listen to audio about the speech so it stays in your memory and you don't forget what you're talking about. Also, yeah, memory, visual aids. Okay, evaluating yourself. Give yourself an honest evaluation and think about what you can improve upon next time. See the things you can refine and practice, and then listen to yourself. Maybe if someone's recorded it, you can see the weaknesses you have. And then, yeah.
Okay, now to conclude, I would like to say that those styles of delivery, it depends on who are you talking with and what is the topic you're talking about. Because if you are in a situation where you are talking to politicians, you are more likely to use manuscript reading because you are the vocabulary you use is important and your speech is very necessary for you to read, because some mistakes would somehow be very complicated afterwards if you do any mistake. But if you're talking to teenagers, somehow you are likely to use sound by speaking, because they are more likely to understand what you're talking about. If you are saying informal words, you are very less likely to get confused. And then, thank you for your attention.